ServiceNow reported its Q1 FY25 earnings just the other night. And not necessarily surprisingly, they had another strong quarter. They actually slightly raised guidance for full year. And they talked about very common and expected themes. AI, so Pro Plus, Now Assist. They talked about CRM and the industry workflows, right? All expected. They mentioned there's going to be more information coming, so setting up knowledge, financial analyst day that takes place at the outset of that. And then obviously some of the reporting, some of the numbers, number of deals, so forth and so on. Particular categories, always important to pay attention to. So I'm going to jump into the numbers. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it all means for customers as well. And then ultimately, it's going to be about what now needs to happen as customers think about their approach to ServiceNow and how they think about preparing for what's coming from ServiceNow as you have renewals. But even more importantly, as ServiceNow is going to continue to try to pull in things before your renewal date. So let's get into the numbers real quick. So Q1 subscription revenue, about $3 billion. That represented 19% growth. That actually was ahead of the high end of what they were expecting in terms of their guidance. RPO, right? So current remaining performance obligation. These are numbers that are very important, especially in today's world. A lot of the financial community is thinking, okay, look, we'll buy some time. We can understand maybe it's going to take time for AI to get adopted. We understand that. But we want to see those bigger numbers, those out-year numbers. What does it look like? When are we going to make our money up, so to speak? So those remaining performance obligation numbers become important. And for ServiceNow, the CRPO, right, over the next year, $10.31 billion. That's up 22%. That was ahead of expectations by the analyst community. For the RPO, it's $22.1 billion, up 25%, right? So all, really big numbers. Growth numbers that investors get excited about. Now, of course, how are they going to get there, right? So think about that. It's going to come down to AI. It's going to come down to CRM. It's obviously going to come down to continuing to expand the platform adoption, those core products, ITSM, ITOM, Software Asset Management, or ITAM, Creator, HRSD, so forth and so on. Obviously, those are going to be heavily relied upon. And that was even mentioned during the earnings call. It's not going to all be about AI or Pro Plus adoptions or moving customers, getting them to adopt CRM. There's still the core, which they have to heavily rely on still. Makes sense. But let's talk about number of deals. So 73 deals in the quarter that had a net new ACV, annual contract value, of $1 million or more, right? That's a big thing. McDermott jumped into the earnings call and basically pointed out that for Q1, it's their biggest Q1 of net new ACV of $1 million. So that's huge. Another thing that was interesting during the earnings call and in their investor deck, they started showing the number of customers that are 5 million plus per year, right? 5 million plus ACV. They have 508 customers that fit that category, okay? So that's big. They used to always talk about $1 million per year ACV. How many customers do we have? So the fact that they've now transitioned to 5 million, that just speaks volumes in and of itself. Deals are getting bigger, and they're going to set a new marker, which is 5 million per year. Now, if you also think about that, 3-year deals, 5-year deals are very common. Think about RPO, CRPO, right? 5 million times 3 is 15 million, right? So these numbers are getting big. They also mentioned the number of customers that spend 20 million per year, or 20 million or more per year, went up 40%. Okay, so that's also significant, and that's big. Now, I talked a little bit about some of the products, right? At the end of the day, for the quarter, right, it's going to be about Pro Plus. So the number of Pro Plus customers, Pro Plus deals that were closed, more than quadrupled. Now, they're not giving you the numbers yet, the specifics. I don't expect that for some time now. But again, they talk about momentum in that, right? They talk about, during the earnings call, the Now Assist ACV specifically continues to trend well, right? Beating expectations. Now, they're not giving those growth numbers. They're not giving the specifics. but they're putting that out there. They had 39 deals that had 3 or more Now Assist products involved. They talked about ITSM Plus. They talked about ITOM Plus, Creator Plus, SecOps Plus. They gave the growth rates. You can all look that up. But the thing there for me is more about, it's not just ITSM, right? It's not just one piece. They're adding that AI technology. They're advancing and adding Pro Plus SKUs that are, yes, still unit-based, but have the number of Now Assists within it. That kind of creates a consumption model as well. Now, on the consumption, very important. I was spending a lot of time on this. There's obviously that flywheel effect that's associated with it. During the earnings call, they talked a lot about how during the financial analyst day, they're going to reveal some of those consumption numbers. Like, how are these customers burning and drawing down on those Now Assists? What are the trends looking like? That's usage, that's adoption, that allows them to proof point it, ROIs, efficiencies, things of that nature. It also is going to show the market, since this is a consumption-based model, meaning the more you burn, go through your threshold, you owe more money. That's going to be appealing and very interesting. So we're going to be paying a lot of close attention to that. It's the day before Knowledge officially kicks off. I'll actually be out there at Knowledge, meeting with a lot of customers. I'll be very much paying attention to what they reveal relative to consumption. Guidance, right? So they slightly raised their guidance. So keyword there is raised. So full year guidance, they're now expecting the midpoint to be around, looking at this, $12.66 billion. They're thinking it'd be about $12.65 billion. So again, a raise. A raise is a raise, right? Especially in today's world. Now, I talked about CRM a little bit, and this is really the key, right? So Pro Plus AI, obviously. Keep pushing the core, keep expanding the platform. But if you think about recent acquisitions, MoveWorks, Logic AI, they think about what was said during the earnings call, especially about McDermott. This is an area where not only is it a growth engine, they need to continue to get penetration. They've put their marker out there, right? So CSM is that, it's CRM. It is the AI enhancement. It's the platform. It's the entire tech stack, ERP, CRM, HCM, all the core, one model. That's what they're going to do. They're going to latch onto their base that has a wide platform. They like the products, and they're going to push in that CRM component. And one of the things that really stood out to me that McDermott said is he said, for a long time, I've been saying no one has to lose for us to win. And then he says, our customers have now adjusted me. They want someone else to lose. So they continue to invest more in ServiceNow. And really, to me, this is all about a shot at Salesforce. Salesforce and Benny, I'm starting talking about ITSM. CRM is obviously where Salesforce plays. I've been talking a lot about this, but this is key. When these type of public statements start coming out, including it's our growth engine, you can highly, 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 highly predict or expect ServiceNow is going to come full throttle at CRM. It's going to be talked about a lot of knowledge. It's going to be jammed down your throat, meetings, so forth and so on. So if you're a customer out there and you have renewal dates, obviously you got to be planning for those appropriately. But really, to me, it's about getting ahead of those two things. AI, so Pro Plus adoption, and CRM. If you play it right, if you orchestrate the conversation the correct way, there's an opportunity here that this point in time doesn't always exist. So prepare appropriately, forecast ahead as to what you think is coming, what you might be interested in doing, build that plan and get ahead of it. Approach ServiceNow with what you might be able to offer them.